Welcome to the Prosperity Podcast for entrepreneurs who are ready to drop the hustle and earn more. I'm your host, Danielle Amos, business and success coach, certified Proctor Gallagher Institute consultant, and lifestyle entrepreneur. Each week, I'll bring you amazing entrepreneurs who have built wealth, harnessing the power of their mind. Prosperity and money are truly about energy, and I'm on a mission to help you create financial abundance through the power of thought. It's time we started normalizing conversations about money and create the wealth that is yours. Are you ready? Let's do this. Welcome to episode 119 of the Prosperity Practice. I am Danielle Amos, and I am your host. This is the podcast that has you living your most abundant life. Welcome. Today, I'd like to talk about the power of hindsight, the power of reflection. Now, it's a new year, and we're a little over a week in. And I've been speaking to people in the public about their last year, and I've noticed a theme of sort of confusion or overwhelm, or even like not so happy with the way the year went. And this is what I know to be true. It is challenging to create something new on a shaky foundation. What I mean by that is, if you want this year to be different, better, it's super important that you clear and cut the previous year, that you reflect on it, harvest the lessons, which you can then bring into the planning for your new year, and close out the year so that you make space for the new. And as you reflect, it's like what you're doing is you're reframing your memories to create a solid foundation for yourself to then create the new year. Now, here's the thing. I know you're probably already making your desires lists and your wish lists and your goals for the new year, and that's great. And even if you're doing that, I highly recommend that you take some time to clear and cut, reflect, bless and release, harvest the good, gain the lessons and the awareness from the previous season, and bring them into the new, and just reframe those memories. This exercise that I'm about to talk to you about, reflection, and it's still available. You can still join our community and do this with a group of people. This exercise, or this end of year ritual, is so important that I've taught it now to coaches, entrepreneurs, leaders of companies, and they now teach it to their clients, their teams, and it becomes a non-negotiable ritual at the end of the year. And I see it on social media, they're all promoting it, they're all teaching it to their communities. And it really, this year I got present to how incredible and how important this ritual is, that I taught them, or they wouldn't be teaching it over and over and over again. Okay. So please don't underestimate this. And I'm going to give you sort of a highlighted overview and then share a story about the power of hindsight, the power of reflection, and how we take the learnings into this new year. And if you'd like to go deeper into like how to bless and release, how to clear and cut, and specific steps on how to do this reflection, this end of year ritual, that I invite you to click the link in the show notes and do this program with us. What I'm hearing from clients and from people across the board, like, wow, I feel so good. I've never felt so refreshed going into the new year. I've never felt so confident and calm. I mean, here's the thing. Many people have anxiety starting something new, because we always start the new year in the same place at zero over again. And this can bring up a lot for a lot of people. So what is that worth, that calmness of mind, that feeling for you, that empowered feeling that you can do anything, what's that worth to you? So I highly recommend that you join us in reflection. And over the next few minutes, I'll share a highlight or the benefits of the hindsight along with some tips. Okay, so the power of hindsight. So when we're in the moment, or even after an event or a circumstance, an event happens and perhaps it didn't quite finish the way that you had hoped. Well, our mind has this interesting way of blowing up the negative, of making mountains out of molehills of problems. And so the way that your mind most likely remembers the situation is for the failure or for what didn't work. And when something did work really well, or perhaps you won an award last year, or something really amazing happened, our mind tends to diminish the good, meaning we were trained or programmed in life to be humble. So it doesn't allow us to easily remember the good stuff. Instead, we easily remember the things that didn't go so well. And so then what happens is you go out in 2023 or the new year to create a new goal and to maybe do a masterclass again or go speak on stage again. And last year it didn't work so well. And so then what our mind does is like, okay, well, great. And remember last year when this, and this happened, and it reminds you of the failures. However, if you take on this ritual of reflection, you'll actually learn how to reframe the failures and understand that there's no such thing as failure, that there's only lessons. And I'll give you a tool on how to just simply harvest the good, to find the lesson. And then what you want to do is reframe that in your mind. So it's like, thank goodness that happened at that speaking engagement, because now I know to ... insert the lesson. And now as you remember the quote unquote failure, instead you'll remember, or you'll be reminded of the lesson, and you'll be grateful for that experience, which has made you a better speaker or a better person or a better leader. And we'll also exaggerate the good things. So all of those wins that you had, we actually want you to be honest with yourself about how incredible you are rather than modest, and learn from those as well. Like, is there anything that I could have improved? Next time, what would I do differently? And now you're reframing and you're reflecting on your year with a lens of like, oh, wow, look at all the lessons gained. Now, here's the thing. The purpose of your goal, the purpose of your desires is growth. Your inner being is desiring you to grow. And by understanding what lessons you've gained and now applying them to the new year, you're actually going to grow. You're actually now doing something different with a different understanding. And so the outcome must be different because you're different. Your perception is different. We change the inside and your outside world changes. So I want to give you an example of the power of hindsight, the power of reflection. So last year, I was fortunate enough to host retreats for the first time in a while. And retreats are, a very big part of how I work with clients, in-person retreats. And I love them and I've missed them. And last year we had one of our first retreat was actually in Mexico. And the retreat in Mexico obviously was a big deal. It was our first time hosting a retreat in a couple of years. And there was, added pressure. We haven't done this for a while. And I'm quite I have high standards for myself and our team. And the retreat was for 20 people. And we get to the hotel because we hadn't seen it before, although I had seen pictures and videos, and we get to the hotel and I noticed that it's not quite what I desired. And I started panicking a bit, and I continued to notice things that weren't quite right. Now, remember, I've got high standards for anyone else that's hard on themselves. And so this disappointment or seeing things that weren't quite right was overshadowing my ability to be so excited and grateful for the fact that 20 people were coming from all over the world to join me in a retreat. Now, luckily, I'm in this work, so I can use my tools to get out of that way of thinking. However, this you might relate to this. Like, I had this feeling all week of like, oh, like it could be better, it could be better, it could be better. And that feeling tends to overshadow the good, doesn't it? Because we're so focused on like what's missing or like the fact that it could be better. And it really overshadowed the fact that like 20 women from all over the world were coming to change their lives. And that now that it's over, and I am experiencing these women 6 months later, and they have completely changed their lives, and the power of hindsight and reflection. I was going through during my reflection process, the feedback forms, the photos, the videos from the retreat. And oh my goodness, I got so present to how beautiful the retreat was. What an incredible experience it was. We had a yacht, the biggest yacht in all of Cancun, a party on that yacht to celebrate the women and their transformation the week of our retreat. We had a shamanic healer with dancing and drumming on the beach. We had an incredible exclusive dinner at this resort overlooking the water. That was our opening night celebration. And I looked back at the pictures, and it was unbelievably beautiful. Not to mention the feedback from the women after the retreat, and even at the end of the year, when they actually mentioned that the retreat was a turning point for them. So here I am, and before reflection, thinking back, like the retreat was, it was great, it was amazing, and yet it could have been better. Now, hey, there's always room for improvement, and I know this. And what I was doing is I was remembering it just for what was missing. And I was robbing myself of this incredible experience of gaining the lessons. Like, for example, one lesson would have been a site visit before, or at least have someone local videoing with me for a site visit. So that's something that I learned that I require for an in-person event that I didn't know I needed. I'm thankful what happened so that I could gain the insight and a powerful lesson for myself and what helps me execute an incredible event. And then in hindsight, I saw that how everything was perfect and powerful, and just reflected on and allowed my heart to open to really become present to the transformations that happened as a result of that retreat. And a bigger lesson came during that reflection process, which was often in the moment, I can personally be distracted by the little details. What would it look like if I was truly present to the beauty in that moment? If I could let go of the things that weren't as good as I prefer and understand that I did my best, and instead focus on the beauty, what would that change in the moment? And I got really present for myself to let go a little. Now, this doesn't mean decrease my standards. So really listen to me, because my intention here is to show you the power of hindsight and reflection, and how you can gain a lesson from it to bring, like a theme to bring into your new season of life, this new year. And so this has become an intention for me this year, is to be in the moment, to notice the beauty in the moment, and not allow anything else to overshadow my ability to really be present. What would that change? What could that change? So while you look back on your year, not only will you gain lessons of specific events and things, that circumstances that didn't go your way, and just reframe them in your memory so that you're now reframing and receiving the lessons. You may find something else in this exercise, a new way of being or seeing the world that can really change things for you. The power of hindsight. Now, obviously, it's too late for me to go back to that event, that retreat last year. And yet what it has done for me already this week is had me be super present with my family, with my clients, with those people right in front of me. It's already made a difference for me in 2023. So I invite you to join us for reflection. It's a short class. You'll get everything you need, all the tools on specifically how to reflect, clear and cut, harvest the good, and just leverage that power of hindsight, leverage the power of reframing your memories and bringing in, not only clearing and cutting your year to create a clean slate for you to create new desires for 2023. I think you'll be surprised at how it impacts your way of being moving forward. So I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for listening. This is Danielle Amos. I'm your host. And if this resonated, please reach out. Let me know. We are currently accepting applications for our Expanse Mastermind, which is my private mastermind. And we're currently accepting new, incredible leaders and people and business owners, entrepreneurs into our Empress Experience, the year-long program. We kick off very shortly with our first class of the season. Come join us. If the way that I teach, the way that I explain the universal laws and principles resonates with you, trust yourself. Allow yourself to be guided by a mentor who's just a few steps ahead of you. Thank you so much, and expect abundance.